Tell us about the shooting that occurred at the PVDFest.
So I want to start off by saying that, I'm so saddened by the fact that that happened during PVDFest. We've had 4 years of just an amazing festival, and in all truth, it was going so great this year as well. So I'm just so saddened that such a great celebration in our community is shadowed over by what happened. In terms of the investigation and what happened, I'll turn that over to Public Safety Commissioner Paré.
Is there any update in terms of search for a suspect?
Yeah, there is a suspect. We're seeking his apprehension.
What's his name?
And we're not going to disclose it at this point, but we know who the shooter is that shot into the ear 5 times, and we're continuing to investigate. So we'll seek his apprehension and hold him responsible.
Is there a warrant out for this person's arrest?
There is, yes.
And is it a person from Pawtucket?
At this point, we're looking to apprehend that individual and hold him accountable.
Did you determine who that was through video that people shot of?
Yeah, actually, it was a good police work. So the video helped, and other video nearby helped with imaging of who he is, and the detectives were able to, through information, develop a nickname and then the identity of this individual.
How concerning is this?
Well, anytime somebody shoots in the air in big crowds or shoots in the air at any time, it is concerning. As it's unfortunate, he shot in the air, but it scared a whole lot of people unnecessarily.
It seemed to might have put a damper on things. Didn't seem as big a crowd on Sunday as it might have had at the PVDFest. Do you think people stayed away from hearing about this?
I don't know about that. Sunday is usually the final day and the thinner day. I don't know how the crowds compared this Sunday to the previous Sunday, but that doesn't matter so much. What matters is, first and foremost, that thankfully and luckily no one was seriously injured. I think that everyone is relieved by that. And then, as I mentioned, we're all just saddened that such a great celebration for the city is shadowed over by this guy letting off into the air.
Why has it taken 4 days to respond to this?
So I've actually responded on media. I've been on Latino media. We had a press conference set up for Tuesday that was rained out, and here we are on Wednesday.
What press conference was that?
That was the ATV press conference.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
About another topic.
So the plan all along was to do availability there.
Why wasn't it acknowledged on any of the PVDFest social media during the course of the weekend?
Yeah, so we got that. So we got all the message out. As soon as it turns into a public safety matter, we take our guidance from public safety, and we take our cues from there. We want to make sure that everyone is aware of what's happening and is receiving that message from one centralized place, from the appropriate place, and that's public safety.
Could this jeopardize future public events of this kind where you have huge crowds downtown?
I think that every single year and with every single event, we regroup afterwards and do a debrief and look to see that how we can improve every single aspect of it. And of course, we're going to do the same thing with this year. We're going to look at everything that happened, not just that incident, but everything about it, and see how we can improve the overall experience for everyone.
Debrief has not occurred yet?
No. A lot of work went into it. A lot of people are, I think, still very tired.
So, Mayor, what do you say to residents who may be hesitant the next time they go to a public event? How do you assuage the residents as the mayor? What do you say to them?
So we have Pride coming up this weekend, and I want to assure every resident in the city of Providence to please come down. We're going to have a full complement of security, both police department, but also private security. If you remember, this is the same question that we received about 2 years ago after the Pulse nightclub incident and leading up into Pride, and we were confident that we had the right police presence, both uniformed, ununiformed, and also private security, to ensure everyone's safety. Now, look, the reality is that in this day and time, you can never, ever assure anyone 100% that nothing will happen. But I don't think that the response that any of us should take is to crawl up into a corner and never come out. There are people who want to scare us into contemplating that, but that's not the solution. And so we're going to come out this next weekend for Providence Pride, We're going to have a great weekend as always, and make sure that we take every precaution to make sure our visitors are safe.
Were either of you downtown when this happened?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you hear the shots?
Yes.
What was your response or
It was
reaction?
frightening. It was frightening. Just the whole thing about it. You know, the most important thing was to let a lot of the dust settle, get a lot more clarity on what was happening. I think the most frightening part is you don't know exactly what happens in the moment, and every second, you know, feels like an eternity. You know, one last point that I really want to make is I want to give great credit to all the police officers who were on the scene. You know, not only the incident, but also, you know, afterwards. A lot of frightened people in the crowd. There's a lot that goes into crowd control. Anytime you have thousands of people out there, it's a very combustible situation. But they handled it with calm. Their training kicks in. They were professionals. They were able to make sure that there were no further incidents because of it. So I want to give, you know, really, you know, strong props and shout out to the police department for their actions.
Commissioner, can you expect stepped up security as a result for this weekend for Pride Fest?
So we've planned for this as we plan for any big event. So we have an incident that occurred the previous weekend, and so we examine if there's any deficiencies. I don't think we could have done anything different. As I said, and the mayor has said, we have tens of thousands of people in a footprint downtown, and one individual takes a gun and shoots. It's virtually impossible to stop that. But we'll look at and review and make sure we're properly staffed, and there'll be a presence, both of uniform presence and people that you won't know who are police officers in an undercover capacity, like we did last year and the year before, to make sure everyone's safe.
So you haven't made that assessment yet, whether you'll have more officers or what?
We'll ramp up. There will be more, but as far as how many more, you know, that's our strategy. So come, you'll be safe, you'll be festive, and we'll do everything we can to make sure everyone's safe and celebrate.
Now that you have a suspect identified in the shots fired, do you have any indication of what he was trying to do? If he was going to shoot people, if he was just trying to scare people?
So that's a part of, you know, the criminal investigation. I can tell you that it wasn't a situation where this individual or anyone was coming out to shoot innocent people. This was not an active shooter type situation. So we believe we know what the motive was, and it wasn't to kill or hurt innocent people. And so that will develop as we complete our investigation.
What do you think the motive was?
Well, that's a part of it. We believe we have a theory, but we haven't finished with the apprehension and possibly holding others accountable.
Is there anything else you can tell us about the suspect? How old he is?
No, not at this point. We are actively seeking his apprehension, and we hope to have that sooner rather than later.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Do you think that